Hello everyone. It's been a while since I picked up this camera. I charged the batteries and hopefully they still work. I don't know. It's been a long time since I even tried to use this camera. We'll see. Anyway, I thought I'd grab the camera and give you a bit of an update on what's going on in the world of them that believe. Alright. First of all, you see my videos where I said I sold my truck. If you've seen them, they're on shorts. Well, I sold my old truck and there it goes. Got enough money to get caught up on my property taxes, and my house insurance are close to it. And I used some money to buy an old beater truck. Yeah, so after I sold my old truck, I used some of the money to get caught up on my house insurance, my property taxes, and that kind of stuff. It's been pretty tough the last few years, ever since COVID especially. The channel took a big hit. There's shadow banning. If you look at the analytics on my YouTube channel, 2021 just declined. In 2021, the YouTube channel just declined. They put strikes on my channel. They removed probably at least 12 to 15 videos. And if I got one more strike, the channel was gone. So I kind of got scared, and yes, fear controlled me. Because if I posted another video and they give me another strike, my channel was gone, and all of the work that I'd done, all the information that's out there for people would have been gone. So I left it alone for a long time, and I never made videos. I never did vlogging. I never did really much of anything until they started lifting the strikes, and even then I wasn't sure what they would do, you know. So anyway, I think things are finally somewhat back to normal, and maybe I can get back to some more regular videos. I posted a lot of music videos, and I really like to do that. It seems that I lose 2 subscribers every time I post a video, so obviously some people don't like my singing guitar playing, but that's okay. That's okay. I enjoy it, and it's for me. And for those that want to, if you want to listen to my singing, you can go, there's a playlist created there called Kelly's Songs. You know, I hope you enjoy it and worship the Lord. Okay, so with the money that I got from selling my truck, and I want to say that truck was donated to me. I was a wonderful person who, during pandemic times, I call it the CV hoax times. She really supported the ministry when most people couldn't afford to, or I don't know. You know how it went. Everybody's been affected ever since financially. The Lord showed me that the whole world had been covered in a matrix of fear and control beginning at that time. I mean, the whole world came under that attack, and it was a lying, evil hoax directly from Satan himself. You know, obviously using the people that serve him, but regardless, that whole thing was a hoax. Every manifestation that is not of God's true creation is a hoax. Okay? The devil's a liar, and it's that simple. But this one person in that time, she helped me out a lot, and I'm grateful for her. I thank God for her. She knew that my older vehicle, I had a Ford Escape, and the transmission went on it, and so she helped me purchase that vehicle that I just sold. So I'm so grateful for her obedience to give, and I pray that the Lord just blesses her mightily for her giving. Okay? But now it's come to the time where the financial situation is now dropped again, and it's been dropping all the way through since the pandemic. And now I've had to sell the truck to get caught up on the bills that I'm behind. And that's part of the process, you know. It's just the way it goes. I mean, I have to look at the financial support that I've been given and use it when I need it. So I've sold the truck, pay those bills, and then I'm going to use some of the money, and I have used some of the money, sorry, to purchase another old beater truck that'll get me around. So the deal was, when I bought this beater truck, I went around to, it's funny how God works. It's amazing how God works. I went around town looking at, my town's only 600 people. Like literally, it's so small. There's 2 mechanic shops. There is a car dealership, but they don't have anything for sale that's used and old and like an old rust bucket or anything that I could afford. But I went by these 2 mechanic shops, and the first one I went to, there was this truck sitting on the side, and I thought, well, that's something like I'm looking for. And I went to talk to the guy, and I asked him if he knew of anywhere that I could find a vehicle reliable. I didn't care if it was rusty. I didn't care what the body looked like, just as long as it could get me around and reliably. And he said, yeah, I don't really know of anything. And then I could see his wheels turning. And he goes, well, I do have this truck outside. I could probably get that running for you for a couple of grand. And I said, okay, I'll pay you $2 grand for it if you get it running, roadworthy and ready and stable. And he said, sure, it's a deal. So I've sold my truck now. I went and gave him the money for this rusty old Chevy, and he's fixing it up right now, getting it road ready. So we'll see how it turns out. I haven't even heard it run yet myself. My plan is to get the truck after he's fixed it up and got it running nice, and I'm going to do the body work myself. I've never done body work. I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're going to see how it goes, and I thought I would make a video of it, and at the same time give you guys some updates, what's going on in my life and that kind of thing. I already purchased a cheap little welder and a grinder, so I can weld in panels where there's a lot of rust and grind it down and get it ready for paint. Here they are. Put them in a little milk crate so I can carry them around easier. I already unboxed them. The boxes are here. Nice little grinder. So we'll see how these work out for me. I used to be a welder years ago for a farm equipment manufacturer. Used to weld small parts. I used to weld wings for big cultivators and that kind of stuff. So I know what I'm doing as far as welding goes. This is flux core MIG welder, but it'll do the trick, and I should be able to figure it out. Well, it's getting fall, so I need to get this truck ready. Hunting season's coming. It's getting cool out. I got a couple of months of no snow yet, but I thought I'd show you my backyard. There used to be a great big shed right here. I had to sell it at one point. I wasn't using it anyway. And then it was a place where I could park my camper. I bought a camper for $800. I fixed it up, sealed it all up, used it for a couple of years. I wanted to use it in case of the apocalypse. Yeah, the apocalypse. I wanted to have somewhere that I could just hook onto my truck and take off if I needed to, but I had to sell it last year to get some of my tax bill paid. I wasn't very happy about selling that camper, but I got $2,000 for it. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. And now I've been working on my backyard, or the garden. Yesterday got all the cucumbers out of my garden beds. That was full of cucumber plants. It only was enough to make 3 jars of pickles, but I got some strawberry plants there. They're not producing many strawberries yet, but they're sure growing lots, so there should be lots next year. And then all of this down here, down the fence line, is raspberries. I get a ton of raspberries. Ton of raspberries. And I love them. Make jams, and I can put them in cakes that I make and all kinds of stuff. Raspberry crisp. There's a bunch of carrots that I have to harvest yet. Some more carrots. And my potatoes are getting close, so they're ready pretty much to dig. And then there's this apple tree in the backyard here. Man, I got a lot of apples off of this, and they're so tasty. They're so nice and sweet. Crab apple. That tree was only about 4 feet tall when I moved in here 5 years ago, and it's producing a lot. And this bush here, I don't know what it is. It was here too, just a stick out of the ground when I moved in pretty much, and now it's this, and I don't know what it is. If anybody knows, put it in the comments. And then over here, big rhubarb plant, and I've harvested that thing twice and got bags and bags of chopped rhubarb. Rhubarb was awesome in a rhubarb crisp, or even in cake or whatever you mix it in. Adds lots of flavor. Another thing I haven't really talked about, I haven't really told anybody on my YouTube channel, but I've been dealing with a pretty tough situation over the years. I know I made videos in the past about my son and going to jail and that kind of stuff, but I haven't really given any updates. And the thing about it was, he after he got out of jail and got off probation, he got really bad back into the drugs. He was off for a year and a half, you know, and once the probation was lifted, he went right back to using meth again. And this country has gone so bad when it comes to meth and fentanyl, and I blame the government. I'm not even kidding, you know. And in the process of all of that stuff, he was homeless for a while. He was off and on staying with me, and you know, and if I didn't take him in, he would have been dead or in jail, you know. And as a dad, I mean, I tried the tough love thing. I tried everything I could possibly try. Kick him out on the street, and he's homeless. He went to, mostly one whole winter, and he endured minus 35 weather at times. I mean, he was able to survive that, but he couldn't look after himself. He didn't have the cognitive ability to get himself a place and hold it, or even to know how to hook up the power or get a mailbox, or he didn't have any of that cognitive ability. The enemy has really gone after his mind, you know. And I know it's demonic, and I've cast out demons out of him, but he goes right back to using again, and you know, and he's at this point, he's mad at God, and he won't turn to the Lord for his deliverance and full surrender so he can get it. But in the meantime, I just gotta do my best to keep him safe and out of jail or dead, you know. So I've taken him in over the last 2 to 3 years, and I've had to look after him. His mind has gotten so bad that I ended up having to take him to doctors, which I don't want to do. I don't want to get him on medication, which he's not on right now. But it helped us get a diagnosis so he can get some financial support. which I need to be able to look after him. And we've gotten that now, and that's a bit of a help. Doesn't cover everything, but well, it doesn't cover half of the bills, but it's enough to at least have him here and, you know, help keep a roof over our heads. So he's been diagnosed schizophrenic, and now he's able to get a disability distinction and some government support. So, in my opinion, government caused the problem, and now they can pay for it until he comes to Christ anyway. Okay, so for now, the truck is still in the shop. He put it in there last week, did a bunch of work on it, and obviously he's got a business to run, so he brings my truck in, does some work on it, takes it out when he has other work to do and that kind of thing. So in and out, it's been in the shop last week. I know to be honest, I don't know the work he's been doing to it. I knew there was a exhaust leak he had to weld and fix up. There was some brake problems that he had to fix up, and I know he's done that. But he said there's more work to do, and it's still in the shop. So in the meantime, we'll wait until I get the truck before I pick up the camera again, I guess. Okay, we'll see you then. Well, I just got a notice that I got another part of my order in. I'm not sure what it is, but it's something to do with fixing my truck. So let's go down to the post office and see what it came in. Just want to explain too, as I'm walking down to the post office, the ministry work, the deliverance portion of the ministry is just as busy as I've always been virtually. My schedule's virtually full, and I'm ministering to clients all the time. And I'm thankful that that's still going, but just because the YouTube channel isn't as busy as it has been doesn't mean I'm not ministering. Just so you're aware, okay? Another bit of an update for myself personally. I'm not sure OG followers knew that I had, years ago I had a hernia surgery. It happened right after I got saved, like in 2007. A month after I got saved, I got an umbilical hernia. I had to have surgery. And it lasted for a couple of years, and then it failed, and I had to have another surgery to repair it. And that lasted for about 4 years, 3-4 years, and then it failed. And now I haven't been able to do anything with it. And basically I left it for almost a decade, and I'm still dealing with that. So I have, you know, as far as laborious work or going to work somewhere, it's difficult for me because I have this hernia. Now I've gone to the doctor. I tried to start the surgery process a year and a half, not this spring, but the spring before, last year. And I have a sinus and blockage too that I was trying to get done, but I went to the doctor. I haven't been to a doctor in a decade, and I've been healthier than ever other than these couple physical things. And of course, they haven't done a thing. It's been a year and a half. Canadian healthcare, man, they haven't done a thing for me. They want me to lose 100 pounds before they'll do the surgery when it's right there in the front. It's so easy to do. I mean, it's crazy. And regardless, and then they sent me for a hearing test instead of dealing with the sinus problem. So I still have that blockage there too. So I'm dealing with that stuff. Then, not last year, but the fall before, I went hunting, got my deer, you know, took it to the butcher, And as the butcher was taking it out of the back of my truck, the deer was about to fall on the ground, and I tried to catch it. And I tore all of these ligaments in this, on my inner elbow. All in here. I don't know if you can see that. Just tore them all. And they're healed up now. But my arm is so weak, I can't really do much. And when I do too much, I can feel that the remaining tendons that are in there popping like little elastic bands. Oh, and it's painful. So I have physical stuff going on that keeps me from going and getting a job somewhere. Besides that, I have to look after my son. He's in the state that he's in. He's not able to look after himself. And I don't trust him to not burn my house down or something. Let's see what I got. Hi there. Well, a small one today, good.
Yeah.
I'm walking. Thank you. Hello everyone. Just as I'm editing, I noticed that one of the clips that I had taken either disappeared or I thought I was recording but I wasn't. Anyway, the Lord impressed on me as I was walking from the post office that I didn't explain another thing, physical ailment that I've been dealing with. It goes all the way back to the last city that I lived in. I had taken in a young guy that I used to, well, I knew him from my old church, and he ended up in the same city as me, and his dad ended up in a mental hospital. He was homeless. So I took him in for a while, and one of the times we went, it was around Christmas time, and we went down to the river. I had found a used hand ice auger, you know, and went there to try and do some ice fishing. I drilled a couple of holes, and there's so much silt in the ice that it dulled the blade, and I was pushing and pushing and pushing, and I popped a rib, dislocated a rib, and I didn't realize it. And eventually it started pressing on a nerve and causing me nerve pain like crazy and stuff. And so now when I go walking or whatever, I can hardly even walk a block before I have excruciating pain a lot of the time. It almost takes my whole breath away when that nerve pain starts manifesting. I know it's demonic, but it's another thing that I haven't been able to get deliverance from. But again, another thorn in my side. And yeah, I think I talk more about it a little bit further in the video. So I'll just include this right here. When that rib situation first happened, it didn't start right away, but a couple weeks later is when the pain all started. It mimicked heart attack symptoms like to a T. I had pain all down my shoulder, my left arm, all the way into my chest, and I admitted myself to the hospital. I drove down to the hospital. They checked me out, kept me on observation for a day, and found no evidence of a heart attack. So they sent me home. And then a week later or so, same really bad attack again, and I called the ambulance this time. And I think there was some fear involved because my cousin, who was a couple years older than me, had just had a heart attack, and they had to put a stent in for him. He's good now, there's no doubt, but I think it got me thinking too much, you know? So for the next year and a half, I could hardly get out of my chair. And to move around the house and do stuff, walking anywhere was impossible. And I ended up having to move from my apartment to a house in the old city that I used to live in. And I had no help. I had to do this all in pain. And by then, I had figured out that it was a dislocated rib that caused the problem. And that rib, it dislocates in your back, so your back is out, but it wraps around the front, and it's right there. I can feel it. It's protruding a little bit right there. And so it still causes me problems. And it's random, intermittent. Like right now, I don't feel too bad. But usually walking compresses my spine and causes this nerve pain to kick in. Carrying a heavy bag, you know, helps weigh my spine down. I was golfing for the last few years, and that helped actually. Swinging a club loosened me up and reduced the pressure onto the nerves. So that was helpful. But I also, in order for me to be able to go golfing and to get walking around even at all, the Lord revealed the thorn in my side. And I repented of some bitterness I had towards somebody. And sure enough, I got delivered. I was able to go walking and golfing, play 18 holes, no problem. But it hasn't completely gone. So, just like everybody else, I have stuff going on too. There's nobody righteous, not one. When I moved from the city that I used to live in to the town I'm in now, I was looking to buy a house. I was looking to buy a church, and you saw my old videos. But that was blocked and blocked and blocked. I never was able to purchase a church building and make it a home kind of thing. It was all because of how zoning works. But nobody told me. The banks didn't tell me why they kept on rejecting my mortgage applications. They just said, no, you can't do it. So I wasted a lot of time before I finally bought the house I'm in. In order to purchase this house, I had to use my visa. Well, the government had gone after my taxes, and they basically stole just about $10,000 from me because I had a tax deduction that I could get about $4,000. Well, it was a $5,000 per year tax deduction. Then they said I wasn't eligible for it, and I had to repay a bunch of money. So it was a big rigmarole. In order to be able to buy this house, I had to pay that tax bill off, and I used my visa to do that and to put a down payment on this house. And I had to do that, otherwise I was just about to be homeless. My rent was $900 a month, and the mortgage on this house is $200 a month. But then you got to pay property taxes and all your bills and everything. But so it was less than, and I was doing that on purpose so that I didn't have to put as much donation burden on people to support the ministry. And it's kept me going for this long. And then COVID hit, and I started to stockpile food, and I actually had donations were dropping right off. I actually maxed out my credit card virtually, and I got a $10,000 line of credit to make sure I could keep my son and I fed and keep the ministry going. And slowly over the last 4 or 5 years, I've had to dig into that, and it's at its limit now too. And I'm doing everything I can to keep the ministry going, but ever since COVID, there's been a curse against the finances all over the world. Everybody is seeing it, and against the givers. And I just think that I pray for the givers. I've been praying for the givers. I've put posts out there to pray for the givers because they're missing out on their blessings, the ones that God has given the gift of giving to give, and I pray for them that they don't miss out on their blessings. Okay, and I don't say this because I desire a gift, but it's the gift of giving that gives back to their account, and I don't want them to miss out on their blessing as well. When givers give, everybody gets blessed. So seek the Lord and see what direction He wants you to give. Okay, let's see what I got. Hard to do with one hand. There we go. Zip cut discs. So I can cut out all the rust out of that truck. Praise the Lord. Okay, now I'm going to leave it until I get the truck home. I just went to make some breakfast, and the Lord reminded me to kind of mention some more about my son's situation, just to give some more clarity. A few years back, he ended up in trouble. Like I said, he was going to end up in jail or dead, basically, if I didn't take him in. However, he ended up charged and had to go to court for this charge, but in the process they put him on bail. And it was a BS charge, in my opinion anyway, but they put him on bail conditions, and he had curfew and everything. That went on for over 2 years, and the probation officer literally called me and said, if you don't take him, he's going to jail. And they put the pressure on me, and I was trying to decide whether to let him deal with it or not, but he wasn't in the right mind. Cognitive ability wasn't there, and if he would have went to jail, it would have traumatized him on a whole nother level. I know he'd already been in jail, but he had been beaten up. He had been beaten up on the street a couple of times where I know he was completely knocked out, most likely bad concussions, and that's part of the problem that he's got with his cognitive ability. So I took him in. So basically, for those 2 years, I was on curfew too. I couldn't leave him alone for very long. And if we did leave and go anywhere, we had to be back by 7 o'clock every night. So, yeah, that's another aspect of what I've been going through these last 5 years. If this ministry has blessed you in any way, please consider donating by PayPal so that I can continue to bless others as well. God bless you.
My heart to sing thy grace, streams of mercy for songs about his praise. Teach me some melody sonnet sung by flaming tongues above. Praise his name, fixed upon the name of God.